Welcome to another video by ITHome Services, and this video is to introduce you to a type of service that you may or may not have used in the past, but I believe it's to be critical in terms of understanding how to take full advantage of your purchases. So you have an existing system and it's either failing or it's not meeting your needs and you need to upgrade. And the idea sounds fantastic, the prices are great, but there can be issues with getting your applications to run in the new environment. So we want to talk about these and we'll talk about ways that we can help you with it. So let's just zoom into the PowerPoint a little bit closer here. Okay, so the idea is that you're going to develop an implementation plan to move your Windows or your Linux environments to new hardware. You may want to change your operating system, but the key thing is that you are using day-to-day applications which you will need in whatever environment you pick. You'll need those to work properly. And so our goals can be simply stated is that when you look at system upgrades or new hardware, you want to keep your current applications normally. You want to protect your data. You don't want to lose any data. And another aspect of that is features. You want to keep your features, your settings. Sometimes the best way to do this is to do a test environment. Does it really meet your needs? And with a test environment, you would normally develop a recovery plan. So you implement it, see if it meets your needs, test it for a while, and if it doesn't, you can migrate back to a previous environment. So having a recovery plan is always important, but particularly when you're migrating from one hardware environment, operating system environment to another. So we're going to look at the idea of implementing in various hosting environments. And you have a lot of choices today. You have your standard Windows environment and Linux and others. Sometimes you just want to have a fresh environment. I know with the Windows environment, sometimes it just, after 4 or 5 years, it gets kind of cluttered and you need a fresh start. So how do you do that? Clean everything out and just reduce it down to what you need. The bottom line is system integrity and data security. So you want to do those. So let's just look at some of the trends and some of the things that you might need to be considering. Most people are familiar with the standard Windows environment. I've been using Windows for a very long time. And one thing I might say, for a while there I became very disheartened with the Windows environment. But in the last few years I've noticed that it has really improved significantly. So, you know, you can quickly implement projects, and the upgrades the operating system upgrades have been smoother. And so there's a lot of reasons to stay with Windows. And particularly this last year or so, I have become very, very positive, particularly on Windows 10. I haven't made up my mind on Windows 11 and beyond. But at this point in time, in 2024, Windows 10 is very stable. And I have a lot of positive things to say about Windows. So I am definitely a pro Windows environment. However, you do need to look at the Linux world. And we're going to talk about that a little bit as an alternative operating system that you may or may not have been considering. There are a lot of variations of Linux. They're called distributions. Unlike Windows, there's only one source for Windows, and take it or leave it, that's what it is. But in Linux you have a lot of different distributions and they have different features. They all are basically free except for corporate or business support, you may want to upgrade and pay the extra fee to get sort of enhanced support. But the basic systems are free, and many people just go with the free versions. So there's a decision to be made in terms of what distribution of Linux we use. And the decision making goes beyond that, because there are, as an example of the top 4 as of 2024, I personally have been using Ubuntu a lot. But after you pick your operating system, and there's some research to be done there, you want to look at the environment you work in. So when you have a Microsoft Windows, there's only one flavor of Windows. But in Linux, there are multiple different working environments, and that's the user interface. And there are many of them. So the top 2 or 3, I would say the top 3 there are the most common that I've seen and worked with, but there are others, and they're all very interesting. So you've got a decision to make there, and I would suggest at this time that you experiment, find one that meets your needs, and standardize on that one desktop environment. Another option that people are looking at is having both a Windows environment and a Linux environment running on the same computer. So in this example on my home computer, you see on the right there, I have my Windows environment, and then on the left, I have my Linux, and that's Ubuntu. They're running off the same system. And in this situation, the Linux is supporting or running the Windows. So I start up my Linux system and I have all my Linux applications and tools, and then when I want, I can start my Windows environment and run that under it. Now, there's some reasons you might want to do that. There's some security reasons. There's some redundancy reasons. For example, I can have multiple versions of Windows running under my Linux, so I can have more than one Windows environment. So you can see at this point, it is extremely configurable, and I would say there is some decision making to make. But here's the point. It's about the level of operating system integration that's available today. So you can have your Windows applications, your iOS Apple applications, your Android applications, and your Linux applications all running on the same machine and all interacting. So one of the things to consider when you're looking at migration is how are you going to integrate your smartphones with your iPads, with your laptops, notebooks, and your service. They can all be working and integrated together. Now, once that's done, there's some great redundancy there, and there are many benefits to having a higher level of operating system integration. So it may not be a matter of picking one operating system to go with, but really it's about having a strategy that allows you to get the best of each operating system. There's a reason why you might want to run your applications under Windows. There's some applications I have that run best under Windows, and others that run better under my iPad, my iOS environment. I use my smartphone, I use an Android for that. And of course, I run everything under Linux. So there's a level of control and support, and I haven't even begun to talk about system security and network security and how to implement that. That, I think, is a separate video. But at this point, I just want to bring this up, get you to think about it, that setting down and coming up with a migration plan. And this can, just be one short meeting, maybe an hour or two, sitting down with a cup of coffee and planning out where you want to be over the next year with your systems, with how you might want to implement all of your home applications, all of your cell phones, all of your iPads, your entertainment system, all of it can be integrated and secured so that you know that if, here's one example, say your Windows software for whatever reason is not available, there's a problem. Well, you still have your iPad, you still have your cell phone, and you still have your other Linux environment where you can get access to your data. So you have multiple paths to your data. And in a sense, your data can be separate from these systems. Okay, well, I think that probably gets us close to having the topic presented. I just want you to think about it. Some planning that needs to be done, but if you do plan, you can really have some great advantages from that. So that's it for today, and I appreciate you taking the time, and give us a shout if you have any questions and you want to investigate higher levels of home or small business integration.